Hey guys, here with Clayton.
Hey guys.
It's 2:50 in the morning. We got back from Cannes today, or technically yesterday, and we have an essay and a poster due. It's 4:16 in the morning. I just finished my paper, yay! Woo! Okay, but now there's not just a paper, but a poster paired with the paper that I have to complete, and I'm still not done with it. It's okay. Usually I'm not like this, but guys, we went to the Cannes Film Festival this weekend. Like, Clayton and I are going strong. Right, Clayton?
I'm watching a TikTok about Spider-Man.
We're doing so much research.
By the time I finally finished my paper and my poster, the sun was already rising outside, but it was absolutely stunning, so I had to take a few clips and just listen to the nature. I slept in quite a bit, went to lunch, then to film class.
It's Maddie's birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
For my roommate Maddie's birthday, we walked over to Café de France after dinner to celebrate with some friends with some ice cream or drinks. Café de France is a pretty common space people will hang out in the evenings.
I feel like I can be myself around Maddie, and if not, I am heightened with energy and excitement because of you. No trip would be as fun if you weren't at there. So I'm so happy that you guys both invited us to Venice. That's so sweet.
We hung out outside until the sunset. Here is outside of Hannah B's residence hall that she stayed in for the quarter. Then we went inside Café de France for a little while longer, chatted until going back down to Maison Basse. The next day was Tuesday, and normally I do not have class on Tuesdays. However, I asked a professor of a travel portfolio class if there were any spots left in the vans for the excursion they were doing this day to Fontaine de Vaucluse, and he said there absolutely was room, so I tagged along with them on this fabulous trip to this spot, and it was just stunning, as you can see. It was so fun to be able to walk around, get to know the professor and the students in this class, and witness their talents in the ways that they conveyed the various spaces that they were witnessing each week as they traveled to new locations, drawing or painting the scenery around them in their travel portfolio journals. We had an opportunity to walk around the village, do some sightseeing, hiking, and I also took some pictures of my own of some of the classmates and the professor in this class. Towards the end of the excursion, we popped by a gelato place, ate the sweet treat, and gazed upon the gorgeous scenery one last time before going back to Lacoste, where I wanted to make sure that I documented the gym space in some kind of video or vlog on my channel because I hadn't yet. So this is inside the gym area. There's various equipment you can use on your own time, and while I was there, they also offered a limited amount of Pilates classes per week. After walking around for a little while, I walked down to dinner at Café Beauregard, where they had a birthday celebration that night for anyone who had a birthday during the quarter, and hosted one big cake night.
It's Maddie's birthday!
Following dinner, I decided to go on a little hike up to the chateau and document some scenery along the way. On my way back down from the chateau, I stopped inside a painting classroom where I had not been in before and walked out on this gorgeous balcony and looked upon the rooftops of Lacoste. Next, I walked towards where I have art history in the morning. Sometimes we'll sit outside on this balcony here and do some studying together. Through this door is one of my favorite hangout spots in the village, and I would oftentimes call my parents. From this spot, I will never be over just how beautiful the architecture and views are in Lacoste. After a good walk within the village, Maddie, Sophie, and I walked down to Maison Basse to work on our film projects in the classroom, but we had to stop along the way to go cherry picking because they were so delicious and ripe and had just blossomed the week prior.
Taste test. Yummy?
There's a pit.
I like them.
Wow.
We chatted, laughed, and edited in the classroom for the rest of the evening. Wednesday was our last day of classes, so we got up and went to art history, presented our poster designs, and then people found this dead snake inside of the fountain and tried to get it out. When class was over, we walked down to Cafe Beauregard for some lunch, and then walked down to Maison Basse where we would usually have our film class at 1 p.m., but our professor moved it to Thursday to give us more time to work on our projects. So we had an afternoon by the pool.
What are you making?
I'm making a fruit plate, and then I'm making sweet tea over there, and then we're gonna do a no-bake cherry tart.
Wow.
I absolutely loved having access to Maison Basse's kitchen.
Peach, cherry,
Wow.
apple, orange preserve, knife.
Hannah B was always the best chef and came up with great snack and food ideas. The cherries were freshly picked from the trees that were outside of Maison Basse in the valley. They were so sweet and delicious. The rest of the afternoon was spent snacking, laughing, talking, and swimming in the pool, celebrating the end of finals.
The Walking Dead. 3,
They're gonna get to this video. I hope you know that. Go!
Boom, 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 boom.
After a fun time together at the pool, we all showered, got ready, and walked up to dinner, where one of the village dogs came to greet us. The next day, we had our last film class, which was so sappy and sad, but we were so grateful for such a great quarter with everyone.
Remember 8 weeks ago when we were just unpacking our stuff? And here we are. There's a blank closet. Maddie's still getting her drawers, but empty drawer here.
After packing for a while, we walked up to dinner at Cafe Beauregard, then saw this student soccer game happening below.
I'm getting sappy.
Tomorrow's our last day.
Tomorrow's the last day, and we did our walk down from dinner. It's just so pretty out here. You're looking at Sophie. Everything. You should try it.
Not to worry, they were holding my feet on the other side, but this was so funny. That night we had a movie night at the SCAD Theater at Maison Basse, and we watched the movie Ponyo, which was actually the first movie I had ever seen in a theater in my life, so it was a sweet nostalgic watch for me. The next day was our last full day in Lacoste, so Maddie and I woke up and decided to walk around the village and document some of our last moments here. First, we walked into a little clothing boutique, which was run by a SCAD alum. Then we walked into various free display type spaces. After walking around the village of Lacoste for a while, Maddie and I walked down to Cafe Beauregard for lunch, where we saw one of the village dogs once again was coming to greet us. It was a build-your-own beef or chicken taco day in the dining hall, and they always have lots of great options, and the food is very fresh. I really did enjoy the food at Cafe Beauregard in Lacoste.
Y'all, you know what I'm really gonna miss? Is the hot chocolate machine.
After lunch, we hiked back down the hill and decided to capture some memories on our cameras within the lavender field, which had not yet bloomed, as you can see. Then we walked on over to one of the rows of cherry trees and took some pictures within it. After that, it was time for the final showcase event at Maison Basse, where all students that studied in Lacoste for the quarter have the opportunity to present the work they created during class to everyone else. For me personally, that meant I got to present my final documentary in my film class. If you would like to see the documentary, I'll make sure to link it in the description below, and it is also just the video that's posted right after this one. For art history, my professor put together a presentation of all of our final posters, so mine was over Van Gogh's Starry Night. Outside my window, I could see these people saying goodbye, and it made me so sappy at the fact that this was our last day.
Last hike up the hill.
We hiked on up to Cafe Beauregard one last time for a final meal together, and boy was it delicious. We of course saw one of the village dogs who followed us around for the rest of the night, which was super sweet. I had one last hot chocolate, which I was so sad to depart from because I quite literally drank it every single day. So it was good for me to say goodbye to it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it for the time that I had it. When dinner was over, we said goodbye to some friends and then decided to walk over to Café de France to have one last little hangout session there. After Café de France, we went up to Hannah B's room to help her with her luggage, as everyone who was taking the SCAD bus the next day to the airport needed to take their luggage to this mail room so that they could load the luggage onto the buses. I was not taking the bus because I had an extremely early flight, so I took a taxi with a group of girls. After taking the luggage to the mail room, we went to Café Lacoste for some pizza, then back down to Maison Basse for one last card game night and goodbyes.
This is so sad. Guys, I've been crying. This is so sad. I'm gonna get up in 3 hours, less than 3 hours. But it's time for bed, we're tired. It's 3 in the morning. Just said bye to Maddie. This is so sad, guys. It's so sad, it's so good. Mwah. Bye, Maddie.
A group of girls and I booked a 3 a.m. taxi to the airport to catch our early morning flights. Upon arrival to the Marseille airport, I said goodbye to everyone, then checked my large bag, walked through security, then to the gate where I took my first flight to Brussels. Arrived safely in Brussels, I walked over to the next gate to catch my flight to Chicago. When we landed safely in Chicago, I had a very tight connection to get to the next gate. For my flight to Indianapolis, the connection was about an hour and 15 minutes, but I had to go through customs, claim my luggage, and go back through security again since I was entering the US. So I had about 5 minutes to spare before they boarded the Indianapolis flight, but I made it and was so grateful to make it on time, and we landed safely. As I walked out of the jet bridge, I saw my dad on the right-hand side waiting for me at the gate, which if you're curious, he's only able to do that since he's a pilot.
Made it home to Daddy!
Yay! Love to have her home.
I was so excited to see my parents and our dog and share a home-cooked meal together. I cannot express enough gratitude for the opportunity to have this experience studying abroad at SCAD Lacoste. Thank you so much for tagging along with me.